Ladies and gentlemen, the NFL season begins in just a few hours. I cannot be more excited. Here on Chase's Sports News, we've been previewing every NFL team season. Now, luckily, it is Thursday. We're going to be previewing a few more team season, previewing every team season here on Chase's Sports News. But I have to give you my official NFL 2025 season predictions, a little bit of a preview, what I think is going to happen. I've been doing it every year here on the channel, and that's got to continue here today. So I'm really excited to give you guys these predictions. Last year, I picked the Ravens to win. The year before, I picked the Ravens to win. A lot of people know I am very vocally a diehard Baltimore Ravens fan. Are they going to get it done this year as one of the favorites, or is it going to be someone else? A lot of hype, a lot of anticipation, a lot to break down here as we preview again every team season. But finally, one collective NFL season preview before things do get started later tonight. We're going to break down the divisions, the awards, and again, my official Super Bowl pick starting off with the AFC North. To me, this is the Ravens division. Coming in fourth, I have the Cleveland Browns. I think they're clearly at the bottom behind Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. Third, I have Pittsburgh. I have them missing the postseason. And I think even with the addition of Aaron Rodgers, even though Mike Tomlin, he overachieves with his quarterbacks, I get that. I think Rodgers is a very old, 40 years old, and I think that team overall will just struggle and just not work. And I think this could be the first year that Mike Tomlin goes under 500 as a head coach. Number two, I have Cincinnati. I think they'll make the postseason. I'm still concerned defensively, but offensively, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, as long as they don't get off to such a horrific 0-3, 1-4 type start again, they'll be okay, and they'll be good enough in the back end of the season to make up for some of their inefficiencies. If they do struggle early in the season, they were a team that a lot of people feared last year, even when they didn't make the playoffs. I think they'll make it this year. But I think Baltimore's going to win the AFC North for a third year in a row. It would be the first time ever a team won the AFC North 3 seasons in a row. I think just overall, they're the most talented team. And this is a team you can question their postseason validity or not. But this is a team that wins in the regular season. They find ways to win. Lamar Jackson wins 70% of his games in the regular season. And even with a tough schedule, I think it'll be enough for the Ravens to climb to the top of the AFC North. Here in the AFC East, checking in at fourth, they have the New York Jets. They just have the most weaknesses as a whole. And I also think they have the least amount of strengths, right? They have a lot of high-profile, talented stars, the Breece Halls, the Garrett Wilsons, the Sauce Gardners, the Quinnen Williams of the world, but it was the same story as last year. And now this team has gotten worse. I think overall, a shift in head coach and general manager, it will help them in the long run, but not in the short run. I think they finished fourth. I had the Dolphins finishing third. I think when Tua Tagovailoa is healthy, the offense runs smoothly enough for them to be a 500 team, but they have too many problems. I think they move on from Mike McDaniel and try to shift the direction of the franchise after 2025. I have the Pats coming in at second place. I don't know if I have them making the playoffs or not, kind of right on that fringe tier. You guys will see here post whether I have them making the playoffs or not. Overall, with this New England team, I think Drake May is going to be solid. I don't think he's going to be great in year two. I think he's going to be okay enough. Really high on Trevion Henderson, and the additions they made defensively were really solid. So I think the Pats are going to finish second in the division, but with a clear lead, first in the division, I am going to have the Buffalo Bills. I think it's their number one seed to lose. They have a very easy schedule, a very easy divisional path. I think they could have a really dominant season and set themselves up well for postseason football, which, like Baltimore, is where it's eventually going to matter for the Bills, where they're going to need to capitalize and come up with a Super Bowl title. Checking in here in the AFC South, I think the Titans are going to finish fourth, and some people are high on them. And, I had Samuel Brown, RBT, on to preview their season. There's a lot of hype, a lot of anticipation when it comes to Cam Ward. I just don't know if I see it. I think he could be good long term, but I think he's sloppy in year one. The Colts can only do so much without Anthony Richardson. I have them third. Jacksonville's the hot, sexy pick to win the AFC South. I have them finishing second. I just don't know if adding Liam Cohen is going to do that much. I also don't think Travis Hunter will do too much. We're going to break that down later. And coming in first, I have CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans, and a lot of people are high on or low on them, after a disappointing end of the 2024 season. But, you overhaul the offensive line, new offensive coordinator, new offensive line coach. I think Stroud bounces back, and I think the Texans win the AFC South for a third consecutive season. And in the AFC West, I think the Raiders are clearly the fourth team here. I know I just had Ian Eagle on. He's very high on Las Vegas. There are a lot of people who are very high on Las Vegas, but I just don't know if I see it. I think Geno Smith is very limited, and they don't have enough defensively. I have the Chargers at third. I think they become a little bit overrated, but you have Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. Amari and Hampton behind that O-line still should be pretty solid. I think the Chargers finished third in the division. Finishing second in the division, I have the Denver Broncos. let's be honest, they're a little overhyped too. I think this is a good team, not a great or elite team like some people are saying. I just can't see them jump frogging the Kansas City Chiefs for first place in this division. That's kind of the hot pick as well. A lot of people are low on Kansas City. Personally, I don't see it. We're going to break this down a little bit later. I think this is the year where Kansas City returns to that elite form in the regular season, where we see the highlights, where we see the high flashing offense, where we see Mahomes kind of enter that elite stratosphere again as well. That's personally what I believe, and I think the Chiefs will easily cruise by with an AFC West title. Now we transition to the NFC, checking in here with the NFC North. Last place very easily. I have the Minnesota Vikings. They overachieved last year. This has nothing to do with them losing Sam Darnold, but more so just because that team was, I think, a little lucky last year. They overachieved as a whole. Now you do have some unknowns at the quarterback position with J.J. McCarthy. I just don't know what's going to happen there. Justin Jefferson will keep doing his thing, but Minnesota won't. Checking in at third, I have the Chicago Bears. Again, another really solid team. I think they're going to make the playoffs this year. I think Caleb Williams is a really good quarterback. I think behind an offensive line and some decent weaponry, I think we're finally going to see things come together. And Chicago will have its first season with a 4,000-yard passer in history this coming year. Number two, even with the addition of Micah Parsons, I'm still a little bit low on the Green Bay Packers. I think they finished 2 here. And not low on them. I don't think they can jump frog or overtake the Detroit Lions here. I mean, the defense is great. The offense still has some inefficiencies. And if Matthew Golden, if it takes him some time to ease into that wide receiver 1 role, there's not much here because they've had so many receiving injuries during training camp. But number one, it's the Detroit Lions. They were the most injured team in the league last year, and they went 15-2 and were the number 1 seed. So if they have some relative health this coming year, the defense will be far more consistent. And even if the offense takes a step back, they'll be okay. The question is, 2 new coordinators on both sides of the ball. How is that going to affect them? I don't think it will affect them too much. Dan Campbell still at the helm. The Lions will be one of the NFL's premier contenders. In the NFC East, there's been no repeat champion since I think 2002. It's been over 2 decades now where there has not been a repeat champion. At fourth place, I have the New York Giants. Hardest schedule in the NFL, a really good pass rush, but I think that's it. They just have too many weaknesses outside of the pass rush for me to bet on this team with that schedule. Third, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, without Micah Parsons, I don't think this team is a postseason contender. Maybe you can sneak in there somehow if the offense overachieves, which I think they'll be fine. But defensively, this is just a disaster across the board. In second place, missing the playoffs, however, I have the Washington Commanders. I think they'll have a solid season, but last year, a complete element of luck. A lot of people like to talk about how they made the NFC Championship game. That Hail Mary doesn't go your way. They're 11-6. They're the 7th seed playing Philadelphia in the first round. And the hype and the anticipation going into this year is not as powerful as it is now. Well, is Jaden Daniels a great quarterback? Yes. Can Washington make the playoffs? Absolutely. I just don't know if they will, because coming in first place, ending the streak of consecutive NFC East titles, I do have the Philadelphia Eagles. If this team stays healthy, I can't see them missing out on another NFC East title. Here in the NFC South, last place in anything across the board in any category across the entire NFL, including the NFC South, is the New Orleans Saints. They're the NFL's worst team, and Kellen Moore won't do much in that new role. Coming in at third, I have the Carolina Panthers. Contrary to popular belief, I think they're going to underachieve. I think we'll have a complete reset at head coach and quarterback after 2025. I just don't think they're going to do much. I think they've become a little bit overrated, particularly that final stretch from Bryce Young. I think they're going to move on from Dave Canales, move on from Bryce Young, and just kind of hit the reset button after 2025. Second, a winning season for the first time in a little while, but not good enough for the postseason. I have the Atlanta Falcons finishing second. But first, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No more Liam Cohen, an offensive coordinator, won't phase them. Love Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Love the core there. I think it's good enough for a fourth or fifth straight NFC South title for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And last but not least, the NFC West. I think it's another division with a lot of anticipation. I have my winner going 10-7 and my loser of the division, the last place team, going 8-9. So I think it's going to be a very competitive division throughout. Teams separated by only a few games. In fourth, I have the Seattle Seahawks. I think defensively, they're going to be really solid. Mike McDonald's going to coach a very great defense, but they lost some pieces offensively. I just don't trust the offense with Sam Darnold at quarterback, and I think they'll suffer the consequences. Third, I think it's a winning season, but just shy of the postseason for the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're going to have a really solid year, though. I think Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. are going to take some strides, and it could be good enough for the postseason, but I have them missing out due to a tiebreaker. Checking in here at number 2, I had in the NFC West, I have the San Francisco 49ers. I still feel like when this team is healthy with Kyle Shanahan a head coach, it will be good enough. I think Brock Purdy is serviceable enough as well for them to clean up clean up the pieces. But there is an easy possibility that this is one of the worst teams in the NFL. It's kind of a boomer bust year for San Francisco. I have them in the postseason, and same with the Los Angeles Rams, who I have repeating as NFC West champions. Now that Matthew Stafford is healthy, another year for this young defense, some continuity. Sean McVay's an incredible head coach. The Rams take care of the NFC West. So that's right. Repeat division winners every single season. I don't think it's ever happened. I have every single division winner from last year winning it again. I don't think there was enough turnover or change in the offseason to influence a possible switch in who I have winning the division. Sure, there could be some flip-flops that you can make. I have a few divisions being won by tiebreakers, but as a whole, I think we're going to see a lot of chalk this coming season. Real quick, I'm going to give you guys my awards predictions here, checking in with the most valuable player award, the MVP. I think Patrick Mahomes gets his third. Again, I think he's in for an incredible season, 2022 level, where he just has all the highlight plays. He's doing it all on the offensive side of the ball and leading Kansas City to tremendous success. I think the Chiefs get the number one seed and Mahomes secures the MVP. Defensive player of the year, I don't think there's an elite pass rusher like last year that is going to be able to rack on the statistics necessary to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. Instead, I have that blue chip player on the defense, that chess piece Kyle Hamilton for my Baltimore Ravens, taking home the Defensive Player of the Year award. His value, his impact, his statistics will be there to take on the award. Offensive Player of the Year, I know it's an obvious pick, but Bijan Robinson is probably the most talented skill position player you can argue in the National Football League, just in terms of his elusiveness, agility. He's going to do some great things in Atlanta's offense. I have him winning Offensive Player of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson, it's so scary to even look at that injury. He's going to come back. He's going to be a monster for that Detroit defense. I have him winning Comeback Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I have Trevion Henderson. I mentioned I'm high on him at running back for the New England Patriots. I think he's going to be the focal point of that offense. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I have Abdul Carter of the Giants. I think he's easily the best pass rusher and best defensive player out of this draft class. I think he breaks the rookie sack record. I think he's going to be that dominant because there are so many pieces around him on the defensive line. People won't just be able to pay attention to Abdul Carter, and he's going to take advantage with a monster first half of 2025. And I have no Travis Hunter here for Offensive Rookie of the Year or Defensive Rookie of the Year because I think Matt Miller was mentioning this right before the draft. Is it better to just focus on one position instead of being okay at two? I don't think he's ever going to become an elite player on either side of the ball because playing both sides is so taxing for a player in the National Football League. So I don't think he's going to have a great rookie season on either side, and fans are going to be wondering why. But I'm telling you right now, he's not going to have a tremendous season. For the first time, the inaugural season of the Protector of the Year award, I have Tristan Wirfs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning that award as the blindside tackle for Baker Mayfield. And then the Coach of the Year. I think this is a year where you're not going to see a lot of teams just kind of leap their way into the postseason picture. There's not going to be a team like a Washington, like we've seen in previous years, or a Houston to come out of nowhere. So I think it's just going to be a good coach and a good team. And I think that's Sean McDermott taking home his first Coach of the Year award. I also have three. Don't be shocked here. Predictions where I'm not going to predict it's going to happen, but don't be shocked if it does. Don't be shocked if the Jacksonville Jaguars resurrect and win their division. That is a very weak AFC South. I'm not high on CJ Stroud and the Texans. I think they'll be just good enough to get there. I think they'll be improved from where they were last year, but the pieces are overall worse. You're just going to have to rely on CJ Stroud making things happen. If they're a 9-win team, maybe Liam Cohen works some magic with the Jaguars offense. I think don't be shocked if the Jaguars are the AFC South champs. Also, don't be shocked if the Rams and 49ers both miss the playoffs. Again, it's a division that I think is going to be so tightly contested. I could see the Cardinals getting there. They were in control for most of last year before a back-end collapse, and they could very easily be there. I'm high on that Arizona team, so look out for them. And then again, the 49ers, there's just so many questions. And then don't be shocked if it's the same four teams again in the AFC divisional round for a third consecutive season. It's been the Texans, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills. We've seen different matchups in those years. We've seen different AFC championship battles. Kansas City's gotten out of the AFC both times, but don't be surprised if those are the final four again this time or this coming postseason, because I do think those are probably the four most reliable teams with the four easiest paths to get there, as long as they do stay healthy. All right, this is what you guys have been waiting for. My AFC and NFC championship picks and my official Super Bowl prediction. In the AFC, I have the Ravens traveling to Kansas City to play the Chiefs in the AFC title game. I think it's the Eagles and Lions meeting up in the NFC. I know it sounds like chalk, but I truly do think this is going to be a chalk NFL season where the best teams are going to be the ones that stand out. Eagles get out of the NFC, make a third Super Bowl in 4 years. Meanwhile, Baltimore gets their shot at glory. And yes, folks, I'm going to say it again. This is the year where my Baltimore Ravens go all the way. Jackson and the Ravens take it in the 2025-26 season. Lamar finally gets his title and cements his legacy as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. Let me know what you guys think of my predictions here in the comments. Let me know if you disagree. And again, check out some of the videos that I've been queuing here. We've been previewing every single NFL team season with a team reporter, a few more to preview. You guys will see that over the next few days. And of course, mainly and most importantly, enjoy football. It's the best time of year, folks. Eagles, Cowboys later tonight. Hopefully you did enjoy this prediction of season preview and predictions here on Chase's Sports News. Signing off, I'm your host, Chase Coburn. We're over 1,000 subscribers. Let's get to 1,100 here in the next few weeks. I know we can do it. So hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any more content. Signing off, enjoy football. I'm your host, Chase Coburn.